Why nothing feels special anymore.
A lot of people just assume that things stopped feeling special simply because they got older. But honestly, aging alone doesn't really explain what millions of people are experiencing right now. Across modern life, people are increasingly describing this exact same feeling. Movies feel totally forgettable. New purchases, they lose their excitement almost instantly. Vacations feel shorter, entertainment feels incredibly repetitive, and even our big achievements just feel, well, less satisfying. Experiences overall feel way less memorable. Most of us just assume that something broke or changed inside of us. This is the unseen costs.
But a completely different possibility exists here. What if something changed around us? For decades, modern systems have been quietly, systematically eliminating scarcity, anticipation, waiting, effort, and uncertainty. Now, don't get me wrong, those changes created enormous benefits, but they also created a massive invisible cost. Because when access becomes totally unlimited, specialness becomes incredibly difficult to preserve. You see, the modern world essentially solved availability, but in the process, it may have severely weakened our appreciation.
Think about it like this. For almost all of human history, access was severely limited. Entertainment was limited, products were limited, experiences and information, all limited. People routinely waited days, weeks, months, or even years for the things they wanted. Movies arrived at very specific times. TV programs aired on rigid schedules. Music actually had to be tracked down and purchased. Trips required deep planning. Products required saving up, and major events only happened occasionally. And yeah, those limitations were definitely frustrating. But those exact limitations created something incredibly powerful: anticipation. People didn't just experience rewards, they anticipated them. And anticipation fundamentally changes the way a reward actually feels.
Anticipation wasn't just the waiting room for the reward, it was actually part of the reward itself. Psychologists have known for a long time that anticipation contributes massively to our enjoyment. The emotional experience literally begins way before the event even happens. Because waiting creates imagination. Imagination creates emotional investment. And emotional investment, that increases the significance of the whole thing. Think back to your childhood vacations. What do people usually remember? Planning the trip, counting down the days, imagining what was going to happen. The anticipation often lasted way longer than the vacation itself. And it was the exact same story for birthdays, holidays, concerts, big purchases. Waiting wasn't separate from the reward, it was a core part of it. But modern systems increasingly just remove the waiting entirely. And when waiting disappears, a huge chunk of that emotional experience just vanishes right along with it.
The modern economy increasingly competes on one thing and one thing only: speed. Every single company out there wants to reduce delay. Every platform wants to remove friction. Every service wants to maximize convenience. Food arrives faster, products arrive faster, entertainment, information, communication, it all arrives instantly. Streaming replaces waiting. One-click delivery replaces planning. Instant downloads replace searching. Immediate access has just become our normal. And hey, from a purely practical standpoint, this seems entirely positive, right? But here's the catch. Human psychology just wasn't designed around infinite, immediate availability. Our brains evolved in environments where scarcity was the default. Throwing absolute abundance at it completely changes our behavior. Because the human brain adapts to abundance. We possess this extraordinary, almost terrifying ability: adaptation. We become accustomed to improvements incredibly fast. What once felt wildly exciting just becomes normal. What once felt super rare suddenly feels expected. Psychologists actually have a term for this process: hedonic adaptation. Basically, your first experience with something feels absolutely remarkable, but repeated exposure rapidly drains away that emotional intensity. Think about your first smartphone. It felt revolutionary, didn't it? But your fifth one? It just feels ordinary. Getting a streaming service for the first time felt like magic. By the time you subscribe to your 10th one, it's just background noise. That very first time you ordered online delivery, it felt like the peak of convenience. The 100th time, you just expected to be there. Our brains are constantly recalibrating. As abundance increases, our expectations rise right along with it. And those rising expectations make true deep satisfaction so much harder to sustain. It ultimately boils down to this: when absolutely everything is available, nothing actually feels rare, and scarcity completely dictates value. We inherently protect what is limited. We appreciate what's difficult to obtain. We remember what requires effort, and we treasure what feels uncommon. But modern systems are designed to systematically eliminate scarcity. Music is everywhere. Movies are everywhere. Products, information, experiences, they are literally everywhere. And the result of all this is super subtle. We've gained access to more than any generation in human history, yet so many of us report feeling significantly less impressed by what we actually get.
Not because the experiences got worse. No, it's because abundance completely changed the psychological context surrounding them. Rare things feel special precisely because they are rare. Unlimited things just fundamentally struggle to create that same effect.
Convenience has basically reduced our appreciation. Now look, convenience solved a lot of very genuine problems. It reduced wasted time, increased access, and removed a ton of unnecessary effort. Those are real, tangible benefits. But the thing is, effort is often what actually contributes to meaning. We frequently value things so much more when effort is involved. Saving up for a purchase naturally increases your appreciation of it. Planning out a trip increases the excitement. Building something with your own hands increases your attachment to it, and learning a hard skill increases your satisfaction. Effort creates investment, and investment creates significance. When effort gets removed completely, that significance often weakens right along with it. Modern systems are in this continuous, relentless race to remove effort from our lives, but the hidden question we have to ask is, what else is disappearing alongside it?
Take entertainment, for example. It literally became infinite. For the vast majority of history, entertainment was incredibly finite. You watched what was on, you listened to the specific records you owned, you reread your books, you rewatched your few movies. Experiences naturally lasted longer simply because options were limited. Today, it's a completely different universe. Thousands of movies, millions of songs, infinite videos, infinite scrolling, infinite recommendations. It's just endless novelty. And paradoxically, this unlimited entertainment often leads straight to reduced satisfaction. Why? Because absolute abundance creates constant comparison. Comparison creates indecision, and indecision completely weakens our enjoyment. We start consuming one experience while simultaneously wondering in the back of our minds if something slightly better is just one click away. The end result is this state of constant availability perfectly combined with reduced fulfillment.
The experience economy, competing for attention. The experience economy has absolutely intensified this whole problem. Modern businesses are in an endless competition for your attention. And to win that attention, everything has to feel exciting. Everything has to feel urgent. Everything must be special. So every platform out there is constantly promoting exclusive content, limited time offers, totally unique experiences, premium access. But the problem here is pretty obvious, right? When everything claims to be special, specialness just becomes completely diluted. The emotional signal weakens. The extraordinary becomes ordinary. The unusual becomes expected, and the remarkable just becomes routine. The system continuously escalates the level of stimulation. Our human attention continuously adapts to it, and the cycle just repeats over and over. Which brings us to the hidden cost that almost nobody talks about. The hidden cost isn't money. The hidden cost is appreciation. Modern life successfully delivered exactly what it promised: total abundance, convenience, speed, access, and availability. And those achievements are incredibly real. But they came with massive psychological trade-offs. Reduced anticipation, reduced patience, reduced rarity, reduced novelty, and ultimately reduced appreciation. Our world became infinitely richer in options, yet so many people feel totally impoverished in significance. Because at the end of the day, meaning often requires friction. Think about it. Many of life's absolutely most meaningful experiences involve serious effort. Relationships require effort. Skills require effort. Goals, mastery, personal growth, they all require effort. It's a fundamental loop. Effort creates investment. Investment creates attachment, and attachment creates meaning. Modern systems are designed to systematically strip away friction, but friction isn't always the enemy. Sometimes friction is exactly what makes an experience valuable in the first place. Without friction, experiences definitely become a lot easier, but they also become incredibly easy to forget. Nothing feels special anymore because modern systems have successfully solved many of the exact conditions that once created specialness. They reduced waiting, they reduced scarcity, reduced effort, reduced uncertainty, reduced anticipation. The result is a world of truly extraordinary convenience, but that convenience carries a steep, unseen cost. When absolutely everything becomes available on demand, specialness becomes incredibly hard to find. And the more modern systems compete to deliver instant access to absolutely everything, the more people may find themselves endlessly searching for something that's becoming increasingly difficult to create: a genuine sense of meaning, appreciation, and wonder. Subscribe to The Unseen Costs for more explainers exposing the invisible systems shaping behavior, spending, attention, and modern life.